Getting a second opinion when it comes to medical problems is standard. And according to our next guest, it should be standard when it comes to your finances too. Greg and Kristen Taylor of Legacy Retirement Group are back with us to explain. Good to see you guys.
Good to be here.
All right. Most investors need a second opinion. Greg, you say this, so why is that?
Well, you know, most people never really look below the surface. You know, when it comes to your health, you're not going to just accept the first opinion, right? You want to make sure, especially if it's some, dire diagnosis.
Right, something major, yeah.
Right, and a lot of people are really concerned that if there's another big market correction or if they retire that they're going to have enough income, but no one's really ever gone below the surface, and x-rayed it, so to speak, and really look to see what the fees are and what the drag on it is, based on how much they're paying every year, how much risk they're truly taking, all those things kind of come into play there, and most people don't really have any idea.
And I think that's the thing too. I think people, it's kind of the thing where, well, this person's a financial advisor, so why wouldn't they know best? But the whole thing is, not all financial advisors are kind of a one-size-fits-all approach.
That's
No,
true.
they're not. A lot are focused on certain areas in life. If your children are getting ready to go off to college, you're going to go see someone that specializes in financial aid and college prep of finances and things like that. And so when you get to retirement, or even when you're in your working years, you're working with a broker that maybe just, is used to you just dollar cost averaging into the market, putting a little bit in each paycheck. But then you get to retirement and you don't really think of that as another area of planning, another area of change. Just like so many areas in our life, we buy a house. How many houses do you look at before you make a decision? Plan a vacation, a big vacation, you spend weeks and months planning and researching.
Yeah.
And we just don't see people always doing that when it comes to their finances. And what we end up seeing a lot of times is people coming in who've made kind of a rash decision and having us take a look at it after they've made that decision. So we love it when people come in and they're looking at us maybe along with another person and trying to decide what fits best.
Yeah, and just like with your doctor, you have your MD that kind of takes care of the colds and maybe your blood pressure management or cholesterol management, things like that. But if you find out that you have, inoperable cancer, who are you going to go see? You're going to go see a specialist. Or if you have maybe a serious heart condition, you're going to go to a cardiologist. And just like, the person that helps accumulate isn't necessarily the person that's really skilled at helping distribute and maintain throughout a retirement. So that's really apples and oranges type of planning.
Right.
And getting a second opinion about risk and fees and things like that is just something that most people haven't done, but they really should seriously consider.
So if somebody is out there, they already have a financial advisor, is there something they need to ask them for, things that they need to kind of bring to their attention or that they could bring to another advisor to say, hey, this is what I've got right now. What do you offer? What are kind of the pros and cons?
Yeah, so I would start with asking yourself a few questions. What's my current risk? What's my risk threshold? What are my fees that I'm paying? And what is it that I have? Do I even know what I have? Ask yourself those questions and say, okay, why don't I know the answer? Is it because I didn't ask the proper questions to my current advisor, or is it because my advisor didn't educate me enough before putting me into these investments?
Okay.
And so we find a lot of times people really appreciate when they sit down with us. We really do take time to make sure people understand their situation and understand what it is we're recommending, because we really feel like that makes for a great working relationship, which could be 20 or 30 years of your life in retirement. So
Exactly.
making sure you're comfortable from that aspect, that your advisor really has your best interest at heart, is really important to us.
That's a good point. And make sure that you're working with a fiduciary, someone that doesn't just have the suitability standard, but the fiduciary standard to do what's in your best
Yeah.
interest. And by the way, if you don't already understand what you're in, then it might be time for a second opinion, just maybe to help you understand exactly where you are. And by the way, if you go back to the same person for a second opinion, then you should pretty much already know what their opinion is. They've already recommended
Right.
it to you.
Exactly. Okay, so this is what we're offering today. If you've been working with the same financial advisor, maybe you want to sit down, you're getting near retirement or you're in your working years, you guys say, call Legacy, sit down, do the portfolio review, and see what's going on.
Right, the first 10 callers today if they call in, we'll sit down and do that portfolio review and do an intense Morningstar analysis so they can get under the surface and get that true second opinion based on facts.
Yeah, the information.
Yeah.
Okay, all the contact information on screen. Greg and Kristen, thank you.
Good to
You're
be
welcome.
here.